Okay, folks, I'm going to start a new one here. So this is quite small. This is an 8 by 10. It's going to be like a mountainous, lakey type landscape thing, and this is more of a study with the idea of making it a larger painting. Right, so I'm just going to get a bit of a drawing in. Some raw umber, lots of spirits here. Alright, so let's just mess around. Now, first of all, I'm going to find my horizon here. Just along here. Alright, now, and I'll be wanting some sort of embankment along here. Okay, and the odd rock in here. Put that in the golden ratio area, along one there too. Now this is the lake area along here. Embankment, and a bit of a, let me see, bring this out a bit further. Okay, and have a bit of a tree-ish type thing heading up to here. Okay, the embankment along there. And then, now let's get ourselves a little mountainous thing. There's a mountain there. There'll be a mountain here. Bump, 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 bump. And just messing around, just doing whatever you feel like doing. Just creating whatever. Now I will put up one or two reference photos just to show you where it's coming from. Now I want the reflection of this here coming down into the water. Not too far, just, and the water is going to be have a little bit of movement in it, so it doesn't need to be a mirrored reflection. Okay, so let's see. All right, I'm going to hit this with a fan, or not a fan, what do you call it, a hairdryer. Let that tack up a little bit, so I'll be back in a secondo. Alrighty then now, folks. I'm going to be working from top to bottom here, from back to front, as it were. So we're going to get myself a little bit of cerulean, a little bit of white, tiniest bit of yellow. I want a bit of a grey greeny look here, and mostly liquid. Let me see, just put this up in here, and this would be where the clouds are meeting. Now let me just play here. I will lighten this up a little bit later. So I will, so I will, so I will, so I will. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 bum. Okay, right, now I want to have that established. I'm going to now start doing the back mountains here. So I'm going to use ultramarine. It has a bit of a reddy tint to it, but I'm going to add a little bit of red to it as well. And the brightness, and I'm using some of the sky colors you can see here, and some spirits. This is just a rough, it's just a rough look to it. Now I think that might be a bit dark, but I'll grey it out a little bit. Bum ba da bum. Bum 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 bum. Still just using an old beat up brush here. No need for anything yet of right, okay, I'm talking here and I can hear myself and I want to keep quiet, but in order to keep the video somewhat entertaining, I need to talk to some degree. Right, so what am I saying now? Right. Okay. Too much, too much, too much, too much, way too much. Bum bum, ba 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 bum bum bum, ba ba bum bum bum. Right, so let me see now. Just creating the shadows now. That's a bit too... it is a bit... Creating the shadows of the mountains, but what I've got down here, I'm actually going to wipe that off. It's a bit too loose with the spirits. Put a bit too much spirits on it, made it a bit too loose. So just wiping everything down a little bit. Now let me get some... Start again, as it were. Get some ultramarine, a little bit of white. There we go. A little bit of liquid, and that's a bit better. Yes, I'm a bit happier with this now. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. It's probably a bit dark, but hey ho. A bit dark for my purposes, so it has. It's a bit dark. And I'll just lighten it a little touch on the canvas. No. Okay. So let me see. All right, now plenty of time here. Okay, right. I'll tell you what. I'm just talking for the sake of hearing myself, so I'm going to keep quiet until I have something to say. Something to say, folks. A little bit grayer. Put a little bit of that raw umber mix down there. A little bit more white. Bum, 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 bum. That's a better start now. That's a bit better. All right. Okay, now we've got ourselves in some mountains here, and I need to still fill in certain areas of it, but we're beginning here. I think I'm a bit too ready here. Got a bit too much red in it. Yes, too much. Too much. Just going to grey it out a little bit here. So I'm using some of this blue. Tiniest bit of, tiniest bit of green. Actually, a little bit of yellow. With the blue, we'll grey it out a touch. That's it. Now, back to where I should have been. Here-ish. That's better. Yes. Right, so let's see now. Put a little bit of yellow in it. I want a bit of green coming through. But not much. I'll use the raw umber as the green. Yellow and raw umber. Tiniest bit of red. Just, way too much. A lot of it just came off the brush there. Okay. So let's see now. That's better. Just trial and error, folks. Just mixing and messing and messing and mixing. That's all we're doing here. Bum ba da bum bum bum. Bum ba da bum bum bum. Now we get ourselves some color and some distance there, okay? And let me just see. I think what I'll do, just while I have it on the palette, I will make up a little, bring this blue in just to break it up a little bit. Create a bit more texture. Okay, that needs to be a bit mistier, I think. That being so far away. Very good. There we go. It's a bit better. A bit darker at the base, but I'll do that a little bit later. So I will. Right, and just creating some textures in here. And that'll come along as a wee reminder a little bit later that I need to do something in that area. Now, and again, I'm just laying down the idea of things here. So a little bit of white. And for our snow, now it's not entirely purely white, especially at this stage. There's no need to have it purely white at this stage. I'm just marking for it basically. And I'll scumble a nice bit of it on later, so I will. It's my preferred way of working these days is to scumble and glaze. I like to let it dry now, and as opposed to before, I used to want to do it all in one sitting, real impatient for it. You know, I just wanted to finish it quickly, but not so much anymore. And I find that I enjoy it much. And not to get you all to feel sorry for me, but my health problems just dictates that I take my time. You know, I can maybe sometimes do a half an hour at a go and an hour to go, but most of the times it's 20, well not most of the times, a lot of the times it's 20 minutes at a go. Right, I think I'm going to put a little bit of the white in the clouds here. Yeah, I think so. Just the white that I have almost as the snow. They're a little bit brighter. But again, remembering folks that coming along later and creating the clouds with the scumbling and schmumbling and all of that nonsense. Okay. There we go. That'll act as a bit of a cloud that I can work on a little bit later. Now, let me see what to do here. What's next? I'll maybe work on the base of this. The base of this mountain here. Let me just mess around here. A little bit of liquid to help move it, a little bit of spirits just to help move it a touch. There we go. Okay, and a little bit further off in the distance here, another type of greenery up in here, a little bit of greenery up in here, just for the time being at least. Alright, now we got ourselves, now this isn't dark enough, so I'm going to do something about that. Now, sorry for all the rustling. That's me working my what do you call it? My kitchen towels. Let me see. Yeah, it's not so bad. That's coming off rightly. Pretty happy with the tone of this. Blend it in just a little bit as I'm going along here, and that'll help. It'll help future me with textures and stuff later on. I find myself being a wee bit dippy today. Mind isn't getting the words that I'm after. Anywho's, there we go. At least for now. Right. Now, well, might as well, while I have it on the brush, I might as well do the area down in here. Bumpity boom, bumpity boom. Pa-pa-ra. Okay. Right, I'm going to lay this in. Just get it in place for now. And then it'll be in. Right, so a little bit of spirits here, just like take this off the brush. Starting off with a relatively dark base for this here. And I will, of course, will come along a little bit later and do all my blending and scumbling and blending. Now you see, now that's how this is working here. Just creating jaggedy edges of this tree, which I will highlight soon enough. In fact, I'll have a wee go at it now, so I will just a wee bit, just here. Highlight these edges, just a touch for me. There we go. Now, I'm going to leave that. I think it's too far. I'm just not going to make any things until later. I'm not going to make any adjustments until a bit later. So let me see now. Get this. I crop along here. Bum, 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 bum. Here I come to save the day. All right, okay. Now we're we're talking. Now we're motoring now. This is more of it. So it is. Now darker corners, bit warmer because of the blue. And just the reason I'm doing that is I want the contrast. You know, the blue sky, the blue, and the warmer, the blue cool here, and the warmer these edges along here, or these shadows along here. Very good. Now, I think I'm just going to move this around a little bit with a dry brush. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. It's a bit much. It's a bit much, but I'm getting there. It's too early to make any judgments here. I'm making my own judgments here, and it's too early to do such a thing. All right, okay, so. Bum, ba, 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 bum. Let me see. I want to get this rock in place that I have here. Okay, and another wee one along here just to get the ideas of them in. Okay. Now let me just see, I just want to lay down the odd thing. Now, not saturated, not fully saturated, folks, but a nice saturated violet here. Bright. I'll be knocking it back with a little tiniest bit of yellow, just to grey it out, just a touch, you know. Just a touch. So let me see. Okay. Good start. Now a little bit redder. You know what? A little bit redder here and there, and here. I'm not going to be too. I'm not going to be too. Oh, I can't think today, folks. Can't think. Can't get my mind into it. I'm not going to be too careful with it at this stage. I put too much cerulean on that. And I don't want that much cerulean in it. You just keeping all that all nice and nice and bright, folks, for the time being. Now, all right, so here we go. Now look at that now. That has borne out quite well. Now, even if I say so myself. All right, now. Don't want to do too much. There's still a few things here I need to put in. Just the reflections of these trees here needs to be taken into account. A bit of a darker area in here. Nice and warm too. A bit warmer. Right, okay. Now let's just get these rocks. Just a nice greeny, silvery. Oh, needs to be a bit brighter than that. It's the start of it, so it is. All right. Now I do want some underwater rocks popping up here and there. You know, when you look down and you see the rocks underneath the water. That's what I'm doing here. Bum ba bum 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 bum. I'm just marking for them, by the way, in case you're wondering what's happening here. Just marking for them. Now, what did I do with my little brush? My little softening brush. Where is it? This one will have to do. Barely touching the canvas. This is quite a strong brush, so I'm just barely touching this canvas. All right. Ew. I think for an underpainting this will do. I do want to brighten this area up here a little bit, so let me do such a thing. Yeah, it doesn't need to be that dark. The reflections don't need to be that dark in this case. So that's fine. That is fine. I think what I might do though, you know, I'll just put another wee rock in here, or some sort of outcrop of stones or something. Yeah, I think I'll do that instead. So I'll make this nice and grey. And then highlight it when I get the chance. Bum, 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 bum. All right, okay. Just think compositionally this helps. At least I hope so. I'm not entirely sure, but I hope so. We'll see. We'll see when I'm done. What it ends up looking like. And everything is nice and rough and ready to go. And I'm just going to put in a little bit of darks, just to signify under the rocks. Just a little bit. And I'll soften them as well, just in here. Okay, and they definitely need a softening. And then, of course, more detail a little bit later on. Okay. Now this fawn brush might be a bit too. There's a wee brush there. This fawn brush I think is a bit too harsh. So I do easy, So easy to destroy it. It's very, very fine at this point. Very, very wet, and it lifts very easily. Okay, right. At least for now, I think I'm going to reshape this mountain here. I think just a little bit of let me just think to myself, I want to be a bit better, a better shape here. And look at that terrible repetition there. Try your best not to do that. It's not easy. It's the way our brains work, We work on repetition. We work on categorizing things, and it's hard to not do it. But when you become aware of it, it makes it easier. Is all I'm going to say now. I can scumble on and scrape things on later, so I can. All right. And there's you can see there's nice distance there. And I think this here area here could do with a bit of a wipeout actually, and a bit more of a darkening. Too much plant in here. Too much tree. So, let me see. Bum, 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 bum. I will come along and cover that up when the time comes. That's not so bad now. I'm pretty happy with that. We'll readjust the tones of that. Okay, right, nearly there. What I want to do now, get myself a small brush and just put in a bit more sky here and there. And this is just to let me know. Seriously, I want a wee nice snow cap there, so I need the contrast. Here, now I want to show you in this wee area here. Okay, along here, I want a nice wee snow cap just to be breaking in and out of this shadow. But in order for me for you to be able to see it properly, I need the contrast. So I'm putting the sky in here. So there's a nice blue here. And then whenever I put the white in and along here, that'll be much more noticeable. That's the plan, and I'm hoping it'll work that way. And it kind of should. So it should. And the same up here. Just to create that contrast. All right, and then I'll be able to come along and brighten things up a little bit. I think what I'll do is I'll set for it now. And I'm just going to little bit of liquid here and just create a bit of a snow cap here. That can be fixed better whenever I'm working on it. Another one along here, just there we go. And as ever, everything is subject to change. I think this isn't grey enough. So let's grey this out a touch. A little bit of blue in it. Let me see where I am. Yeah, a little bit more. I'm just using what's already on the palette. Greying it out. All right, okay. Now, a bit of an embankment here is what I'm going to go for. A dark embankment. Ba-ba-bum. Trying not to be too careful. Don't want this big straight line, you know. Now you can have the straight line along the water. I want it to be a bit rough up and along the edges here. All right. Okay. Now that's a separation of the water. And I think I'm nearly done here for the background painting. And what I'm going to do just is add a little bit of brightness. Just a bit of brightness to the water along here. Very good. There we go. All right, and a bit of green has come into it, but I'll fix that when the time comes. And you see, you can really, you know, if you're doing alla prima, you can really just keep going and keep going and keep going, and really, there's nothing to stop you from going and going and going. You know, it's nice. I did like doing alla prima, but I hated the whole constantly working on it for X amount of hours, and I just found it difficult to do. Okay. This will act as a reflection if I can remember that that's what it's there for. Okay. Let's see, this area here is properly subject to change. So it is. Just I'm not finding myself happy with it. You know. But hey ho. That's my job, is to make myself happy with it, isn't it? Getting there bits at a time, eh? All right, that will do. That will do. I can mess around with it a little bit later. So I can. All right, folks. I'll see you all again soon enough, and I'll come back and finish this one off, and I'll see you all, as I said, soon enough. So bye for now. Okay, folks. Back to this one now. Now I'm just going to work on this area up here for the time being, and we'll see where we are. Now, I want to darken a few things and get things a little bit more defined here and there. And let me see, I'll give myself a little brush to do such a thing. Right, so now, no, I'll just carry on with what I was thinking. A bit of a nice grey blue here. Bit of red on it. Oh, not as much as that. A little bit more. A little bit of black in it too. Yeah. A little bit more of an ultramarine I'm going to lean towards here. Just kind of moved off this one here. That'll do for a little bit of the water a little bit later. Now let me see. Let me see. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. So let me see now. Bump. Just little peaks that show up. Here and there. I'm hoping that that's not too dark. No, I don't think it is. I think that's fine. I'm just sticking with the ultramarine blue here. Let me see. That's not too bad, I think. Just darker at the base. Here, and then lightening as I go up. That's okay. Just lightening a touch as I go up. Just up into here, a bit brighter. Okay. And then blend the two together here. Just get a nice wee blend in here. Alright, I'm just going to come in here a little bit at a time just to create the idea of some scraggly bits and of rock and what have you. I'm going to darken this just up a little touch up around the ridges of it a little bit. Just a slightly darker tone to make it look like there's a bit of a hangover here. Now that's a bit too dark. Just rimming those edges a touch. Now, let's work on the grayness of this area here. No, before I do, while I have it on my brush, I will do this area. Boom, boom, boom. A bit brighter. Just a touch of liquid. Bum, ba, bum, bum, bum. All right, just to give myself a little bit of a difference of things here and there. Is all. Just want it all to be the same. Trying to create some impressions of different things happening. Okay, now. On to this area now. So, tiniest bit of red, oxide red, and the rest is raw umber. A little bit of the grey in it here. Tiniest bit of yellow. I want it to be a bit green-ish. That's a bit too dark, so let's lighten it a touch. We'll see here. Now that's a bit grayer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the background as the darker patches. So I'll be highlighting this just a smidgen. Leaving some of that dark behind. Okay. It's the odd break in it here and there. Now I think a little bit too much red has creeped in. That's better. Yes, that's a bit better. Now, as normal, as you're coming down, you want it a little bit more saturated as we're coming a bit closer. Just a little bit more saturated, a little bit warmer. Just barely noticeable enough. And that's, that's way too much. Spread that around a bit. Okay, broken the edges now. And I think I'm going to take some of that off, just a bit. All right. Now, let's put on some of the snow-kept parts of it. So I'm going to, now it's not pure white. It's not far from it though, you know. Okay. So far so good, we're getting there. Hopefully you can see its development here. Okay, now back to some of the color here. Just we're gonna work in here. It's a bit too much. Okay. Da do 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 do. Again, just going for some broken edges here. Okay, now let's work on this one here. I don't want to do too much with this one. I'm kind of okay with, well, I'll fix up the edges a touch. And so I will fix up the edges just a touch. Let me see. It's a bit too, just a bit too bright, or a bit too dark, sorry, I should say. That's perfect, look at that. Really good match in there. Even if I say so myself. Just letting it, trying to create some ordinary, random, but believable shapes, you know. Just okay. Now I'm going to create some broken edges. And what this is that you get yourself a brush, and this is a dry panel. Well, the paint on it is dry. And you just get your brush and you just drag it along. Now, unfortunately for me, that's the same tone as what I had down. So it's not, the cracked things is not showing up so much. There we go, that's a bit better. That's a bit better. Now I'm just going to darken a few areas. A bit too dark, I think. Keeping it rough, folks. Keeping it nice and rough. Well, that's nice. That's nice now. Ba ba da bum, bum ba dum bum. Okay. Just breaking into here a little touch, breaking these edges. Give myself a bit of a better look here. Not completely covering this now. In fact, using it to break up the paint. See that? Look at that. The way that as if it's growing up the side of the mountain. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dull this back a bit using what's already on the brush, just a touch, and then kind of wiping it on, wiping it off, just to grey it out a bit. Look at that. Now that becomes part of the mountain, I think. Now, do I leave this area here? I think I will leave it for now. Let's just say that I'll leave it for now. Excusez-moi. Now, let's get myself a nice silvery thing here for the water. How bright is this? I think that's just about right. Well, not quite just about right, but nearly just about right. Okay. Hey, hey, hey. Pom, pom, pom. Aye. Now we are getting there. A little bit later on the base here. A little bit. Let me see. Ooh, that's just, I think this is just right. And a little bit blue. I want like a saturated blue. But lots of different things. You know, put this on, put that on. Put this on, put that on. You know, there's no right or wrong if you match the tones. Really, if you match the tones, there really is no doing it wrong. They'll end up just with a lot of colourful, you'll end up with a very colourful piece. But you'll still be able to see it all because your tones are perfect. If your tones are perfect, that is. Okay, just little bits at a time. Trying to get it to all work together. Okay. Now, I'm going to cut this back a bit. Here. Just for a better, make that a bit more shallow. Just for a better reflection, or just more, to create a bit more of a shallow look to this. Cut into it a little bit there. Okay, and then just soften it on up. Just going to soften this up. Lovely. Now, bam, 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 bam. Now I want to work in around this area here, and there's a few underwater rocks that I'm going to put in, and I want to show you how to do it. So a couple of brushes, a couple of smallish, flattish brushes. These little dagger ones will do the job. Okay. So this is I'm going to nicely cover it. Well, not entirely. I'll have to be careful what I say here. Not entirely covering it, just a little bit here and there. I think it's a bit too dark. There we go, very nice. Just patches here and there. I want a lot of things to show through here. Okay, so not being afraid to create some patches here. And if it doesn't work, I can just paint over it. But of course, I'm going to try and make it work before I give up. Right, so let's get the some of these colors in. Let me see here. Just now, this is the rocks. Okay, just a very soft situation here. Gray, a gray blue, a bit brighter. Now I think that it's a bit too dark, bit too bright, sorry. Trying to leave it patchy. I'm not blending this too much. I will blend to soften the edges if I believe it needs it. But at the minute, I don't think it does. No. Just breaking that up, folks. Just breaking this area up in here. All right, okay. Don't want to go too far, so I'm just going to be. What did I do with my brush? Don't want to be going too far just yet. So, I'm going to leave this as is for here. Now, want some underwater reflections here. Or, sorry, not reflections, under the idea that things are under the water here. So back and forward just with the darker blues and the oops, too dark. And a gentle, gentle, gentle softening. Barely touching this canvas. And then the odd highlight. Alright. The odd wee highlight popping up. Having these like little rocks that just see them. Just see them and no more. Okay. That should give the impression that things are going on under the water. There we go. I think I'm going to just fill this area in while I have the stuff on the palette. So now this is tree holes in here, so it's going to be a little bit darker than what this is, just a bit. I'm just going to near enough cover that and then paint over it. Okay, same here. Break into it. All right, okay. Now, I think I'll wait till that dries, so I'll work on doing around here. That's what I believe I'll do. So it's a little rough brush, small but rough, if I can find one. Yeah, one that'll do. An old cheap one, just for grasses, you know, to boop, 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 boop. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Now I'm just knocking a good bit off this. Now I'm not keen on this brush. It's not exactly doing what I was hoping it would do. I can use a little tiny fan brush, really beat up fan brush as well. That's nice, that's better. Bum, bada, bum, bum, bum. Bum, bada, bum. As I'm moving down here now, again, you're making it a bit warmer, a bit greener, bit of this, bit of that, you know, just a Bada boom, bada boom. Okay, now down in here, come on up to the base of this. A little bit dark in the corner. Okay. And slightly lighter at the tip of this. I'll belong here. Now I'm purposely not putting the grasses over everything, as there's still things that need to be done. Okay. I think I'm going to just knock that back a bit. I think it's a bit too sharp for me. Oh, I am hardly, this is quite wet, so I'm hardly touching this. All right, nice and soft. So I want to put in some rocks and stuff and here and there, and maybe bring this in a bit actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to bring this in a bit. So that's okay. And then that's just to meet this, you know, just to meet this as a reflection. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in the water and a little bit further as well now. Bum, 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 bum. There we go. Better, I think, anyway. I'm just mixing on the canvas here. All right, okay. Very good. Very happy, very happy, very happy. Right, so let's just keep going, folks, just for the time being. It's just... I'm just creating the reflection of this. And I'm going to lay down the highlight of it too. Okay, so not bright enough. Okay. Okay. Now. A couple of different small brushes here just to get all these edges nice and scraggly and the way I want them to be. It's a bit too dark. Okay. Okay. Okay, now a little bit darker than what I have here. Just creating the shapes of this rock here, or trying to anyway. Okay, so let me see. For the time being, that is fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the rest of them here. And starting with the darks. Nice dark blues here. Cools. And reflections. And then let's put the highlights on them. Now what has happened here is my brush has gotten a bit dirty. And that's okay. No, it's not. No, I don't like that. No. So, because the brush got dirty, I'm just going to wipe that off. And I'll try again. Yeah, that's a bit better. I'll be able to shape that a bit better now. So I can. There was something going on, yeah. Okay. And there's a little squiggly bits of rock here and there, just in here, and just. Actually, what I'm going to do is. Oh, no, I'm okay. I'm all right. Let's do it this way for now. Just create lots of little rock formations. Hard for you to see here. And then just a slight highlight here and there. And then the odd little shadow and highlight, or not highlight, shadow. That you. I hope you didn't hear my stomach there. But you probably did. I don't want to spend too long on this now, which I believe that is what is happening. So let's just work this here. Get this blended in a bit better. All right, okay. Now I'll put on a few rocks. In fact, I'll just mark for them now in case I forget later. There's one there. Just a few rocks here and there. Another one there. A few here and here. Bompity bom, bom bom. It's a bit of a rock thing going on. And I'll put one in the water here too. In fact, I'll use this one here as a bit of a larger one. Okay. As I say, I'm just marking for these for the time being. Now, I'm just going to edge this embankment a little bit. Slightly darker colour than what's down. Just along here, just. It's barely noticeable change, but you should be able to see it. You know, just a. Oh, very nice, very nice, very nice. Lovely. Now, while I is here, what is my little round brush? That'll do there. Yeah, filbert brush. Let's work a little bit on the trees. Right, now, not too much on the brush. I want to scrape this off. Ah, lovely. Very good. That came off well. A little bit brighter in some areas. Again, not too much off. Not too much on the brush. Very good. Very nice. Coming off rightly. Coming off rightly, innit? Lovely. Bit brighter. Yeah, not too bright though. Just dancing around all that sky holes. And okay. I'll fill that in. I think I'm okay with this, but I'm unsure. I think I'm all right with it. Just need a few darker areas. I think I just need to reshape the front of this here. There we go. Now, I'll just put in a few trees. Let's see now if this will do the job. Okay. Yeah, it's marking for them at least. Aye. That's a bit better. Okay, now I think I'm going to leave that for now. Very little left to do. Maybe tone this area down here a bit, add a bit more colour into it, but I think I'm fine with it. For the time being, I'm happy enough. I think the trees could be a little bit better. So I think what I'll do, before I go anywhere and do anything, I'll have another wee go at that. So I will, just while I'm here, while I have the colour on the palette. Bit brighter. I think the first initial one that I put up, I just went a bit too dark. I'm going to let you see it this time. Now this is one where I'm going to be cautious. The tone between these two is going to be between this darker area and this lighter area is half a step, even if that. Okay. And a bit of liquid here, just to it'll come off the brush a bit better for 1 or 2 strokes. Okay, right. Yeah. Nah, not happy with it. Well, so I'll wait till it dries, and I'll come back and have a go at fixing it. Right, okay, and this here little peak here, what the hell is that? Oh, lordy lord, what have I done there? I just saw that. So let me see. Just meet it, that's all. That's all I need to do there, that's a bit better. Yes, it's a bit better. Right, I'll see you all soon enough, folks, whenever I come back to finish it. I don't know when it'll be, but it'll be soon enough. And bye for now. Okay, folks, right, I'm going to say that I'm near enough done with this one. I just want to put in a few more rocks and a little bit more detail and just mess around with the tree a bit more. But, nearly done. Nearly done. Right, so let's mess around with the rocks. Get myself a wee grey, a wee cold grey. Bit of blue. A little bit of oxide red, just to warm that grey a touch. That's a bit, I've gone a bit too far, a bit too far. Aye, all right, that'll do. So let's see how. Just little dibs and dabs. These are off in the distance, so there's not you're not going to see much detail with them. Just a little bit of reflection needs put in, which I all but forgot about. Just sharpening these edges here just to get that little rock look. As if they're poking through the grasses, you know. Using another brush just to get on. Now, as I say, I want to put on some reflections here. Nice cold reflection. Just here. Oh, it's a bit too dark. It was a bit too dark, so it was just a bit. Okay. All right. Okay, now I just want to take a small brush across this just to destroy this reflection a little bit. There we go. All right. Let me just have a wee look. I think I'll have a wee go at this tree. Like I say, I'm all but finished with this one. And I'm just going to lay down. That's a bit too similar in tone. I don't want to put on too much. These are only highlights, and you know what? I'm putting on going a bit too far with it. So let's just boom, 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 boom. That's all right. That's okay. Slightly lightening it. I think it's a bit too light, so I'll just darken it a touch, and then I'll just that's barely noticeable tonal change, but it is there. That's one thing for you, is to practice, is your tones. Practice them, folks. And what I would say is, like, so you put a thing down, a paint mark across, whatever it is, just take it off the palette, put a paint mark across, and then first of all try and match that tone. Take off what's on the palette and redo it, and then try and match that tone, and then go a step either way. Make it a little touch lighter, and only a touch lighter, and then a touch darker, only a touch darker, and so on and so on, until you get a gradient that grows. So you've got a middle value, or whichever value you started. You started a real dark value, slightly lighten it. Started a very light value, slightly darken it, until you've got this gradient up and down. And it'll teach you, the tones and how important they are. Probably everything, to be honest. They certainly create the shapes of things. That is for sure. You wouldn't really have much shapes if it wasn't for tones. Colors don't shape. You can have any color you want. Go into Photoshop, pick an image, change the colors, and the image still remains the same. Change the tones and it flattens out, and it's not the same. Alright, okay. Now, so let me get a bluey grey color here. I think I just want to brighten this little thing up here. Ah, for goodness sake, too much. I think I'll try this. It might be a bit bright, but yeah, it's okay. I'll use this sparingly. Bum, 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 bum. Alright, now I just want to soften it up a touch. Alright, yes, I am happy with that. Like I say, I think I'm very close to being done with this one. I think I will do that. Just putting in little ripples here and there, just to help sell that idea that we are now above the water here, and there are little stones underneath it, barely noticeable, very soft. Let me see. Yeah, pretty close to it, folks. Pretty close to finishing. But what I will do, I will add a little bit of a darker blue on this to bring out the mountain in the reflection a bit. Let me see. Alright, just bringing it out, making it a bit uneven. You know the way that works in ripples. There we go, look at that. I think that's believable. Okay. I don't know whether to leave it now or not, or just mess around with these grasses here. I think I'm happy with it, but I already have the grass color down here, so I'm just going to just put in a few grasses and just let them. That's a bit too. Oh, there's my dishwasher coming on. Let me see. Boop, boop, boop. Ah, that's dead on. That's okay. We wriggle the scraggledy brush here. A little bit of spirits. Just make it a bit less viscous, so it comes off the. It comes off the thing a bit better, off the brush a bit better. And I think I'm going to let that one be. I think that'll do. Yeah, just almost. Just want to knock that tree out a little bit, just as if the leaves are growing over it. Aye, okay. I'm going to call that a day. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, folks. That's a small 10 by 8, and I will put other videos up along about here somewhere. And if you could, please like and subscribe. And oh no, don't go away yet. Don't go away yet. I'm just keeping you here. No, I wasn't happy with this little thing along here. I thought it was a bit too not painted properly. I'll put it that way. I just wanted to just fill it in a little bit and just make it a wee bit more scraggly than what I have it. Okay, now we'll give ourselves a little bit of a thingamajig. Bum, bum, bum. What I'm going to do, I'm going to match this and bring it down a little bit, make those edges a little bit more jaggedy. Look at that, that was almost a perfect match. Almost a perfect match. Just a half a tone out. Oh, look at that, there we go. Just jagging these edges off as if it's coming down and growing down into the waters. Aye, that's a bit better to my eye. And just messing around a little bit here. All right. Aye. Now, I wonder, do the clouds need any work? Just the edges a little bit, just is all. I'm not going to do too much to them. Almost a pure white here, tiniest bit of blue in it, and I'm going to take it from the palette, or from the already mixed thing here, and I'm just going to, there we go, just taking this edge a little bit. Very nice. You can barely see that. Let me drop this down a bit. I guess a bit of a contrast is what I'm going to do here. It will help sell the idea that it's a sunnier day. Let me see. Ah, okay, that's nice now. Yes, I'm glad I made this decision. Okay. Now you see it brings the white caps of those mountains out a little touch. Because now we have more of a contrast. happening. Now if I okay. Just adding the odd detail here and there. Just breaking things up a little bit. Making them out a little bit more realistic is what I'm going for here. Now I'm going to do the same with the big one here, only it's not going to be so bright. Just taking this. So I'm going to just use a little bit less ultramarine. It's not going to be very bright, but you should see it here. You should see it. Just want to drag it through. Just want some bit of snow on it here and there. Breaking that up a touch. Because this is very dry, the brush is really, it's leaving not a lot of, excuse me, it's leaving a lot of little broken edges, just dragging it across. Wonderful effect. Right, now I think I will now call that a day. Right, well, there you go, folks. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll say it again, if you could, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. So bye for now.